Hello and welcome back to the channel where we are building a video game from scratch using Love2d and Lua. Yesterday we worked on getting this little furnace in the refinery, so I'm glad we've got this. As far as today goes, we'll have to check what's on the docket. I'm not exactly sure what we're working on today just yet. So let's pull up our little Kanban board and see. Okay, we need refinery stone. We did that yesterday. We have 2 villagers, a gossip NPCs. We have, 3 new characters to make before the demo's ready. We gotta add geckos to the gecko road, which I don't think I want to do until we kind of finalize the design for the overworld, so this would be before that. And then collisions for the entities are probably going to be after that. Limited inventory is a pretty easy thing. So yeah, it looks like maybe what we'll do today is kind of high level plan out the overworld for the game area for the demo, because we have basically all the features and everything. We just need a kind of like better than a placeholder. See all these like fences are kind of blocking people from exploring places I haven't designed yet, but we do have sprites in every location. They're just kind of placeholders. So if we walk around up here past the dungeon, we can see that there are maps everywhere. It's just that they're placeholder, tiles. So if we plan out the playable level area for the demo, see, that shouldn't be possible. We can plan out how we want the village to look and then all the limited spaces, and we can kind of plan out how many scenes we need to do. So what, today is May 11th. We're trying to have the demo ready for play testing by the end of this month. That's more than enough time, because yeah, all we have left is just a couple more overworld sprites to design, and then 3 NPCs with little bit of dialogue or unique story stuff there. So I'm not too worried about that, but it would be nice that this looks pretty, right? There, it's all the placeholder stuff for right now. So we're gonna have to design a couple new variety of sprites to give us a little bit more variety in how it looks, and then we can publish the demo. So we've got the win state, we've got the opening cinematic. Yeah, we've got basically everything we need. We just need to piece together the last bits for the demo. So I think today will be a little bit of a top high level overview of the scenes that we want to develop for the demo, and then we can kind of get a checklist of like, okay, here's what sprites we would need because we have this in mind, and as well as where the NPCs will go once we make them and what they might say. So I don't know if today's going to be programming. It might be just like some high level planning, so I don't exactly know. I guess a good thing, we could kind of plan it out in the minimap. That's probably the easiest way. So here in the minimap, we have little locations here. So we have to decide, how much is going to be village, what does the transition to the forest look like, how tough is the forest going to be. Yeah, we don't have time to do any new enemies. The boars are going to kind of rule the forest, but the idea is by the time you get the tome at the end of the dungeon, that will unlock the forest biome. So we'll have to figure out, the demo doesn't actually unlock it, but that's the idea. So the forest isn't fully explorable for the demo. So we'll have to, find a way to kind of limit how much the player can explore in the forest, because we haven't developed that biome yet. So the main part of the demo is from here, Mage's Castle, up to the village. You know, Dark Temple is locked off. I'm thinking I kind of want like a main street of a village kind of going up here. And I think I want the refinery to be up here. So if we have Main Street up here, you know, maybe 2 streets of Main Street, or I guess this would kind of be the first one of Main Street. You know, we change this village into one Main Street with like maybe 1 house, 2 houses, and then up here, the top, yeah, this 5-2 would be the refinery. So we can scoot up the refinery up here, because I kind of want the refinery to branch out to the top of this dungeon. So that gives us, you know, there's stairs here for the dungeon entrance that gets you up here. So I kind of want these 4 squares to all be generic forest, like not pure forest biome. You know, I think that the forest boss would probably be down here. You know, kind of deep into here. So ignore this snow area, but we basically come out here. You know, because I'm kind of thinking that the main grass bit that's like up here isn't really a biome. It's just kind of like a transition into the other biome. So like, well, I don't know. We could have the forest biome end deep into it over here, and then that, you know, somewhere up here opens up into the volcano, somewhere down here opens up into the desert, so desert's kind of blocked off. And then maybe I'll try to build this out a little bit, because we also, you know, there's also some underground dungeons like the one right here. This is our dungeon 1, and there's 6 scenes, and then it pops you out right here, and then here's where the shortcut is. So yeah, maybe what's down here is not the boss, but the shortcut to getting either a tunic or some other dungeons, and then unlock the desert down here. What up, Fartnarker? And then maybe over here is going to be the forest boss. And then we can kind of, you know, design it in such a way that, you know, and these are just guidelines, right? Like this isn't set in stone. Because up here, I kind of like this area being a sort of like optional later game area. So like maybe once you get the blue tunic, you can cross the river up here and get into some later game stuff to get you more elements. And then yeah, so Fartknocker, this mini map is what I basically did was I took the real map that I'm drawing here. So like if you zoom in, this is the real map that we're walking on. But I zoomed it out, screenshotted it, and then converted it into a little mini map of Game Boy resolution. So the idea is once I build out this area with non-placeholder sprites, it'll look like it's actually a representative picture of what is actually there when we finish it. Because like, see all these flowers, these pink flowers up here? Those are actually modeled over here in that little area. You can see those little flowers. They do come across, but it's Game Boy resolution. So we kind of like, we don't generate this picture in game based on the map, but we have to export it and then resize it for Game Boy and re-import it. So that's why like this part is snow still, because that's how it was when I got this sample. Now this is the shortcut that's in the grass. So I'm trying to just figure out what kind of combination of walkways we need for the demo. So I think I'm going to take this screenshot and pull it into GIMP so that we can draw some ideas. Yeah, it's definitely heavy Link's Awakening inspired. But, you know, I don't know how far I want to like I don't know if I want to add jumping like Link's Awakening does. You know, you can get Rock's Feather in Link's Awakening and jump across pits. I don't know if I'm going to go that far. So I don't know. Okay, so I think what we want to open the mini-map. So we'll come in here. I don't even know where our freaking place is. Where is our pinned? It's in our Windows subsystem for Linux folder, but I don't know where that is. We'll just copy it somewhere else. So graphics, minimap right here. We're going to copy this and we'll place it just in the Godzilla drive for now. Okay, so this is just what we're going to use to kind of plan an overview. Okay. God, dude, every time I use GIMP, I'm like, what the hell is this thing? Dude, why is that what you thought I wanted? Bro. Why? Dude, zoom out. I hate Adobe, but I just cannot even kind of with GIMP. Yeah, I just can't. It's just so unusable to me. See, like, Photoshop just freaking works. Okay. Like, how is that so hard, GIMP? Okay, we'll get a little brush tool. Okay. My cursor doesn't work with Photoshop. Okay, well. Alright, so for the demo, let's do this in like bright white. Okay, so this is village. You know, this is the first village, so maybe there's one house here. Dude, I need a pencil. Okay. So we got a house, and then this is going to be Main Street for the town, right? So there's Main Street. There's like a little house, maybe a little fountain or something. And then this is one scene by itself. So there's like a house and a fountain, and then here's the refinery right here. And then we're going to be blocked off from up here. Or maybe there's one screen we can go up, and then there's going to be like a river, right? Corrupted river up here. So this is where if the player goes up here, they'll see, maybe there'll be a sign that says whatever late game area is up here. We don't need to design it, but so if there's village over here, that's the first one. Here's Gecko Road. We can have two squares of Gecko Road, and then the inn is beneath it. So that's where you can go heal. But you'd have to basically run past the geckos to go heal. Either that, or there's going to be like a safer way around Gecko Road so that you can heal without, potentially risking your life over here. So if you open the shortcut, I want it to be able to go down into Gecko Road too. So that leaves us with, this is where we come out of the dungeon right here. Here's the shortcut where the snow is. This is the shortcut. And then this is the dungeon entrance. Okay, so then, yeah, we have these two scenes already. Those are pretty locked in. Those are probably the only two scenes that are how they're going to be in the demo. And then, yeah, we pop out this way, and I kind of I don't want too many scenes to explore here. So for now, for the demo's sake, we might block this area off. So this is blocked off, because if you go this way into the desert, we need to come up with a hard block, because the biome just isn't designed yet. So I know someone put on GitHub, someone put a suggestion for a screen block that we might use, and I told them if we use it, we'll give them credit in the game. It was just like a two-way. Here, I can maybe bring it up. Yeah, I forget who it was. Fuguesoft. Okay, so Fuguesoft suggested, what up, Salto? How's that cream coming? Something like this, where I like this second one. So if we had oh, that's good. That's good. Yeah, Fuguesoft suggested this, right? So fence, boulder, pit, wall. So if there's like I'm trying to think of what this accomplishes. Because if there's a pit on the other side of this boulder, oh, but then there's these boulders too. Yeah, so you can't do anything coming out this way. But if you come out, let me think. If you come out this way, you can push this boulder to come out. Yeah, then you can't get in this way. So we can't do something like this for the sand lock. We have to come up with some way to, a lot like how our shortcut is like, you come into the shortcut and you're stuck, but you can see the scene, and if you enter the scene from another direction, then you can actually solve it. So we need another one of those little puzzles. This one doesn't work with the pit being like this, but if we were to put a boulder here just for now, then we could kind of hint that and draw like a little road up that kind of signifies that if you come in here, you can push the boulder out of the way. Yeah, so maybe this is a pit, this is a pit. Boulder can be pushed onto the pit, and then boulder can be pushed down out of the pit. And then you can go left and unlock that shortcut to get to the sand biome. So yeah, I'm not sure this one works because the pit here isn't solvable from a right entry, like Fugue was kind of saying. It says it's solvable from right entry, but I don't see how it is, because there's a pit here. You just can't get here because pushing this boulder left only blocks you, and these boulders can't be pushed because they're two-sided. You know, if there's two adjacent sides against an immovable object, you just can't move that boulder. So those are stuck. Yeah, unless we do like a little and you know what we could actually do? Actually, this could work. This could work because you can push a boulder on top of a single pit, and then you can push a boulder past a pit, and chances are you'll fall into the pit as you push it over, but you can stop early and just give it that momentum and then pull back on your pull and move the boulder past the pit. So if we do something like that, it's a bit much though, because I'm trying to think of like if it's in a shortcut and the boulders had memory, right? Then the boulder would end up over here. Then you could come and we remove the wall here so that we could push the boulder on this pit and then move this boulder out of the way. Then you go back around and push the boulder above the pit again so that both those boulders are free. No, you're still... It would unlock, yeah, it would unlock that way to walk around it, but you'd have to backtrack and come back around. So I'd want to think of something simpler. And this isn't meant to be solvable. This is just to block us from going further in the sand biome for right now. So I'm not too worried about this. But that will be right here. So, either, this will be like maybe there's like a hard wall right here to prevent you from going deeper, but you can go down here, and then maybe down here is where you actually get blocked, and this is the heavy sandstorm. So you're blocked here, and then you're blocked here, you're blocked here, you're blocked everywhere from here. So this is just like the end of the sand biome. And then this place is not explorable. I'll make this place not explorable for right now, until we figure out. So you can just go through the shortcut over here, go down to avoid Gecko Road so that you can come down here and heal from the dungeon, because the biggest health threat to the player is this dungeon right here. So they can come out, and instead of going through the deadly Gecko Road, they can come down. And maybe, I don't know, because I'm kind of wanting... Yeah, maybe instead of this one being explorable, maybe they can shortcut and only explore one scene of Gecko Road, and it's lighter. So maybe like right outside, this is the intro to village. There's a deadly Gecko Road here with like 4 geckos. Then there's only 2 geckos over here. And then here's the inn where you can heal. So if you're coming out of the dungeon, you can walk down into a safe zone and then face the Gecko Road with only 2, and you can kind of cut down and avoid them so you can go heal and go back up to the dungeon. And then yeah. Well, that's the thing. I'm actually you know, I have to kind of like give up the fact that I was trying to like at one point keep the game dev spoiler free, but I don't even know what's going to be a spoiler at this point. So I'm like, I'm just going to share the whole thing. So like there are little hacks. If you watch the stream, there's little hacks in game that that you can pull off. The biggest one being in the dungeon. There's a secret trick pit that can kill you, and there's a secret way to push it that makes you perfectly safe while you're doing it. But people won't know that on the first playthrough unless they get lucky and then pay attention and realize it. But yeah, there are a couple tricks. Okay. Yeah, so I think this is okay. And then, you know, I do think my game plan was, you know, this is the dark temple which we have designed. But I wanted this area down here, like I want the dark temple to be corrupted water and a bridge here, so that you can't go down, right? So this is blocked here from the dark temple. But this place isn't going to be in the demo, but this is kind of late game optional stuff. Once you have all, like, think of like Chalice dungeons from Bloodborne over here. And this is like, you have to have the tunic to swim, right? So there's going to be a lot of water here that you need to tread and work your way up here, and then this will be the entrance to the Chalice dungeons essentially down here. But you can't get there. I do want to have a screen here beneath the inn that it has like a little dock, right? So like think of like Pokemon Silver Kanto and Johto, like the little river down here. So it's like there's like a little dock with a river kind of hinting that there might be something on the other side, and then through the swimming you kind of have to navigate through some sea monsters, and then the Chalice dungeons will be up here. So I would want to have this scene, so maybe for right now we would block off this scene so we can't get this way. We'd block off this way from the inn, and then yeah, just looking at this, and then, you know, from the refinery, I want you to be able to pop out of the refinery and explore these 4 squares too. So these 4 squares will be non-violent exploratory squares. Maybe with we can maybe do, you know, ultimately I want heart containers in the game. We don't have that, and it's I don't want it for the demo because I would only want to have 4 heart containers to get a full extra heart if we were to put it in the demo, but we just don't have that. So my plan is to be generous with the hearts. You know, for the demo I'll start you off with 5 hearts. In the real game you'll start off with 3, but in the demo you'll get 5, and you can heal up to 8 if you have enough coin. So you can just farm coins in the dungeon if you really wanted to and go heal up to 8, just because that's how the healing system's working. It's rendering based on an 8 heart system. So we're just going to keep that for the demo. So this will be, you know, maybe we can put a gecko here or there. Maybe we can add a singular dungeon. We have 2 types of dungeons, like a walk into the wall sort of dungeon and a walk down the stairs sort of dungeon. So maybe we can put a dungeon with some coins and or rubies with a bat or 2, because that would be easy to add. So maybe there's a dungeon here, a downward, you know, stair dungeon down here, and then here's going to be perfectly safe, you know, and maybe all these places are going to be perfectly safe, and then there's a dungeon here if you explore there, and maybe there's we can put a box on top of the doorway to the dungeon, or we could put we will put a boulder on top of the doorway for the dungeon, so that in order to get into it you have to have the green tunic that you can push it. So that'll be good for a little one-off dungeon. It'll be like a 1-screen dungeon with a bat and some emeralds and stuff, so that you have 2 options to harvest minerals for your upgrade for Flamma. This is feeling good. Yeah, we'd have to block off this way too for right now. It like these block offs are gonna be kind of contrived in a way, because it's like it's not gonna be what it's like in the full game, but we can't let the player walk anywhere because it's just not done yet. Okay, so let's take inventory of how many screens this is, because this feels like this is a significant chunk of screen real estate for the demo, right? If you think about it, that looks like about a quarter of the game map. Especially considering there's 6 scenes in the dungeon Otherworld and 1 other dungeon for up here. But then again, this would have to be blocked off into a way up into the ice caves. This would have to be blocked off somehow. And then this is blocked off with like a cliffside, so this is okay. And this is all blocked off. Okay, so let's count how many these are. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21 scenes in the overworld. That's good. If we look at our notes, we had 21 scenes in the overworld. That seems really good for the demo, because then there's 7 extra dungeon scenes plus the Dark Temple, so that's 8 dungeon scenes for the demo. So that's about 27 scenes to explore for the demo, which is pretty good. Yeah, I initially said 10 to 15 screens for exploration, and we're currently sitting at a planned 21. I think that's good. And then when we look at it, yeah, that's pretty solid. Because when you think about it, there's 100 scenes in the overworld. It's a 10 by 10 map. So 21 of a 10 by 10 would be just over a fifth. So just over, it'd be 21%. Jimmy's crawling around. I just don't know if he's on Jimmy Cam yet. Maybe not. Okay. So we're in good shape. I think this is a good game plan. And then, that also doesn't account for the scene. We have 2 screens inside Mage's Castle. We have a scene from the opening cinematic that is non-explorable. It's just part of the cinematic. Then we have a scene for the inn, and we have a scene for the refinery. So that's 5 extra scenes to explore. So, yeah, all things considered, it's probably closer to like 35 unique scenes to explore in the demo, which seems about, pretty good, pretty fair. I like this. Yeah, I like this, except, and then maybe we can, I don't know, maybe for now we can just put flowers over here. I like the flowers, they just don't do anything. So maybe we can just put a field of flowers just because it's pretty, and then we don't have arbitrary blocks here. But the game does end over here, so we might have to just do a wall of water. Just like how Link's Awakening is kind of on an island, Koholint Island, right? So that all the border pieces are water, so that it's believable that you can't walk all the way over there. So that's a potential extra 2 scenes we can plop down, just because the flower field is pretty on the minimap, and it's kind of fun to walk around in, so we might do that. Yeah, this is feeling pretty good. I guess it doesn't really make sense that the inn would be so far away from the village. So either... Yeah, it doesn't make sense that the inn would be so far from the rest of the village. But also... I think I want the innkeeper to become one of the NPCs that we put in the city or in the village. And then we make a fisherman NPC. And he'll live down here because the dock is right down here. And that leads to the end game. So it would make sense that we would make like a fisherman's hut over here. And maybe that's what you can sleep in. Like you can pay him to house you. Because maybe what we can do, and this is to kind of feed the story in the game too, is maybe there is an inn and it's one of these buildings on Main Street, but when you walk in there they refuse to rent the house to you because you're a magic mage, because the mages are what caused all the corruption in the water in the first place, so they don't trust you at the beginning of the game. So it's one excuse to kind of do, so maybe the villager that's in the inn here is actually the innkeeper in Main Street, and he doesn't like, he's not going to sell you a bed. But the fisherman, if you talk to the fisherman, he'll sell it to you for 10 coin or whatever. I think that's cool. And he's a kind of hermit, so he's not thinking the same things that everyone in the village is. He's maybe off on his own thing, so maybe he doesn't know about the mage's magic corruption stuff, so he doesn't mind renting us a room for 10 coin. I think I like that. Okay. Yeah, I think I like that. We have Dark Temple. We'll have Flower Bed, which is nothing but pretty at the moment. Trying to think of anything we can put in these 3 safe zones, right? Because we don't have much. Maybe we just put heavy wooded trees in there. Oh, it would be cool. It would be cool to do a dark forest. Like a... Yeah, I think the move is we can put a key item boulder right over here. And you could push that up to unlock the dark forest. And the dark forest is filled with some geckos and trees. Basically, like, I'm thinking of like Viridian Forest at nighttime, where everything is like a deeper blue color. Just because it would be nice to have some more variety of sprites in the game. So a dark forest like this could be cool. Yeah, maybe we don't make it unlockable with a boulder because in order to get to the dungeon, you have to push the boulder. So maybe if you explore here and you don't have the boulder, you just see a boulder and you think nothing of it. But then once you come into the dungeon, you get the pushable tunic, right? And then you realize that you can push that boulder, so then you go back up there and you can push it. So maybe, okay. Yeah, maybe the way to the dungeon is past the dark forest, and that's your kind of first challenge before the dungeon. Because the geckos are a little simpler than the bats, right? Geckos only hurt you if they touch you, but bats have to be in your vicinity and then they spit at you, so geckos have to get closer to you to hurt you. So bats are a little more dangerous because they have a better shooting range. So I'm trying to think if we can make it so that the player maybe mean, if Gecko Road's over here too. Yeah, I definitely want the dungeon explorable down here because the inn's down here. But in terms of... Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, I was thinking to make it so that you had to get through the forest first before the dungeon, but I don't think that's very fair, because if you're coming up here for the first time in your game, you can only heal at the inn, so you're going to have to go left, down, down, right, down, down, heal. And then up, 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 left, up, right, down, right, up to get back to the dungeon. That's just way too far at the beginning of the game. So I think this is just a nice kind of like bonus area. Like the player will probably stumble across it because they'll probably want to go explore, you know, if they see the road, you know, they might come over here, see a corrupted gecko on Gecko Road, decide to not go there just yet, walk up Main Street, talk to the people up there, walk to the refinery, talk about that, explore the scene over here because they're stuck here and there's nothing over here. So there's nothing in the flower bed. There's only a corrupted river blocking the top entrance over here. And this is more of a later game place anyway, because the forest biome isn't gonna be over here. I think the forest biome's gonna be, like, the forest boss is probably gonna be down here. And then I kind of wanted some, like, in Link's Awakening, when you get up to the windfish, there's these kind of like tunnels that you go. It's kind of like, you know, you go inside the wall, you work out your side outside out the top, and you go up a level, then you walk around, you go back in the dungeon, and then you fight some more, you walk around, you come out the side of another mountain and walk up and then go off on the rails. And it's kind of like you go in and out to kind of work your way up the mountain. And I kind of want the entrances to, at least the entrance to the volcano, to be a sort of tunnel system. So like maybe once you beat the boss, there's like a tunnel system down here, and you can work your way underground all the way up here to get to the entrance of the volcano. And then there's a shortcut that you could blast open, and then you can get to it from here. But the first time you get to it, you're going to have to work your way underneath and around, and it's going to be a long trip with no, you know, it's going to be a long dungeon to get out there. And I kind of like that idea. So I think it makes sense for the boss of the forest biome to be down here. This won't be in the demo, but just for like planning purposes, I think the boss for the forest will be down here. Then that gives us, you know, the intro level. And then when we play the lute and clear the corrupted waters, we can have some of the corrupted waters down here by the dock. Maybe there's corrupted waters on both sides, and once it heals, maybe, you know, maybe there's a little boat you can take, or maybe there's the blue tunic will allow you to swim, but that's going to unlock the late game stuff, so that's going to be like the last tunic you get. So I'm trying to think of a way we can kind of tie the cleansing of the water to the unlocking of the first biome, which is the forest biome. And right now I don't think I have that. It's not part of the demo, it's just that the end of the demo is cleansing the water. So in the full game, cleansing the water will unlock the first step to you getting the forest biome playable. And then I like that this area over here can be some minerals and heart containers, and then same with over here, as well as, so like, you know, minerals and hearts, and then also little dungeons with elements, minerals that you can upgrade. And then this will be the shortcut once you unlock the volcano biome. And then the sand boss, obviously, you know, down here. Okay. I'm not exactly sure what we do for the ice mountain. We have a snow particle system and some snow sprites. So maybe, you know, if this one is blocked off, because right, the dark forest comes out here. So maybe at the end of the bottom dungeon, there's upstairs to warp us to the mountain, and maybe it warps us like over here, you know, kind of in the center of the mountain. And this is easy to do in the game with what we've got, right? Because we add a warp zone. The warp zone takes us to a 2-screen dungeon. Very simple. We can draw whatever we want. We've got bats, we've got chasms, we've got mineral deposits to put in there. We can put geckos or crates or boulders, whatever we want. That'll be easy. But then the warp zone in that dungeon will pop us out over here, so that in the demo, if they go through the dark forest, if they have the green tunic, they can push the boulder, reveal the stairs underneath, go in, go fight through 2 dungeons of stuff, pop out in the ice mountain, and if they pull open their minimap, it'll be a mountain thing here. It'll be ice and snow, and they'll pop out right here. If they pull open their minimap, it'll show that they're on the ice mountain. But this is like blocked off on all sides. You know, this is just a teaser. Because what we can do is we could put a little signpost. You know, we can add, just like how we have sand in the desert, we have our snow particle system already made. So we can trigger only on this scene. Let's do our particle system and make it more of a blizzard than a falling snow. You know, we can probably modify we can maybe even just modify our freaking sand biome to instead of go from right to left, go from top down, like it's raining snow hard. Make it snow colored, and then this won't be hard because we've got the particle system already built out. So we just change the color really on like the rain system. Then, you know, we have to come up with some way to kind of like believably block us off on all sides over here. But this will make the demo feel so much bigger than it really is, right? Because it's like you're gonna come down here and you're gonna see a dock, and it's gonna say like, you know, whatever islands over to the left, signifying that later in the game you might be able to get over there. If you come into the dark temple, it's too dark and there's a hidden place there, signifying that that's a later game area. There's a river up here that's a corrupted river blocking the area up here, which signifies you can make it over here. There's the desert that's over here that's blocked off, and then there's the winter ice mountain too. This will feel good. Because we'll have the village, we'll have the dark forest, we'll have a dungeon that you get the tunic and the first tome here. We have a shortcut unlock. We have a biome introduction. We have another biome introduction. And then you can solve the puzzle, clear the water. And that will be like, oh, you cleared the water here. That unlocks the next piece. And maybe up here is where we have minerals that allow you to get sapphire for the first time, because sapphire is the element that you need to defeat the boars that are going to be in the biome. So the water is the element to get to fight the forest biome. So cleansing the water will clear something in a river up here that allows you to pass, and then there's going to be some dungeons and or minerals ready to be harvested up here in the top left. Okay, this is starting to feel, good, because I think you know, we still need a way. If the dark temple, or if the dark forest is the entrance to the ice mountain, then the ice mountain can be blocked by just the shape of the mountain, you know? So you can't just walk up the mountain, you kind of have to crawl in. I mean, kind of like the volcano in that sense. Because I was initially thinking that you walk up the steps and then it says the mountain is too dangerous. It is closed. So maybe we do have like one scene right here from the dark forest, and it's like a long stairway, right? And the long stairway leads up to, it's blocked off. So like there's a long stairway, and then it says Ice Mountain is due to dangerous conditions. Idea. So maybe maybe I'm trying to think, because if the dark forest pops you out there, yeah, maybe we can do something like, I'm thinking, because I kind of wanted to explain why you can't explore the mountain just yet. And I don't want to just warp them to a square with rocks all around and you just can't do anything in that scene. So I think what we can do is we can make one scene here, and most of it is like the side of a mountain, right? And then there's a scene, or there's like a stairway, and then there's a signpost blocking the way, and it says due to dangerous conditions and falling rocks, access to the mountain is prohibited. So if you walk up there without having the green tunic and without going down the dark forest entrance, you'll see that it says there's falling rocks and it's too dangerous. But if you have the green tunic and you push open the boulder, you can fight your way through two scenes of dungeon, pop out right here, and that then it's a little more believable for us to dump us in a snow scene with heavy snow and surrounded by rocks, and just as an excuse to have it blocked, we have something in game that says, hey, this is a dangerous area, there's falling rocks, just so it doesn't feel so contrived that you just can't walk anywhere when you pop out. I think little touches like that will help it feel like it's more of a generous demo than just, I just don't want everywhere people go to be like, oh, and I can't go here. Oh, and I can't go here. Oh, and I can't go here. That's what I want to avoid. But I would like people to be like, ooh, what's over here? Oh, I can't go here yet, right? I want it to feel like, oh, I see what's happening, but I can't just do it just yet. So that's more of the feeling I want to go for. So I think focusing on these little details will help that. And on one hand it feels really ambitious, but I don't think it's that bad. Like, it seems like a lot, right? It seems like we only have 2 weeks to do, a fifth of the game in terms of exploration, but a lot of this is very easy. The hardest thing's going to be making the new NPCs, because this is blocked off. This is just flowers. We could even do that today if we wanted. That's that easy. And then we could even do, the shortcut is essentially done. We just need to block off the bottom. We need to add this, which would be easy. The dock, which we would need to make some special sprite art for the dock. But that's not too hard either, honestly. Okay, so the hardest thing would be the all new sprites for the dark forest. That would be hard, or at least significant. But but we already have this dungeon and shortcut and dungeon pop out. We already have the sand biome, so it really isn't that much more work to add all of these sprites or all of these scenes to the game. And when you look at the ground we can cover, it's about like a third of the game map, which is cool for the demo. I like that we'd be able to explore a big chunk of this bottom left side. You know, if this is a triangle, we can explore a big chunk of this bottom left aspect of the game during the demo. Okay. I think I like this. Maybe we can just map out. Maybe we can just translate what we drew here into temp art for the overworld. Just to get us a little closer to realizing this. So even though it's like temporary, it'll at least be more of the shape that we're wanting, and then we just keep building it out, keep refining. So I think that's what we're going to go for. Wow. Starting to feel real. Oh my god. Okay. Yeah, I think like a dark blue-green kind of forest would look really cool. I would like to have the shaders working for that so we can darken our player a little bit, but also in Pokemon Gold and Silver, it's kind of like they just darken the environment and the player stays the same brightness and it looks good still. So if we could figure out the global shaders though, we can add a daytime nighttime system, which could be really cool. You know, just like every 10 game minutes or every 15 game minutes, it transitions from day to night or something and then back, just to give it some more variety in how the game looks. Because with shaders, we have control over that kind of stuff. So that could be fun to play with. Okay. So what we're going to do is build out what we just drew in temporary art in our map here. So we have Mage's Castle right over here, and then Rickety Bridge. Okay, so right here, this is the first house for the village, and then there's Main Street right above it. So here's our top level tiles, right? Refinery is going to be moved up, so we have to move the refinery warp zone up, probably the same location, just up 2 scenes. Yeah, 2 scenes. Okay. It's hard because there's like 3 different layers of stuff, right? Okay, so I'm just gonna copy the top, copy the top refinery, and we're gonna place it 2 scenes above. So this is like the first village with the inn that won't sell you the bed. Then up is Main Street, where it has like an apothecary or other little things, little fountain, and then up here is the real refinery. So we'll put the real refinery up here, and we'll just copy to each proper layer the same stuff. Okay. So we've got a new refinery there. Now we need to move the warp zone. I don't know if I'll worry about that just yet. But let's unclear. You know, let's clear us of these top level fences. We'll have to remove the signpost in the refinery in map 7.2. We'll have to remove that. For right now, I'll leave it. Just because if I start changing too many things at once, it's going to be hard to make sure we remove things intentionally. So I'll kind of do it one step at a time here. So this is all normal grass, but with buildings above it. Okay, and we can kind of see. Yeah, so this will be the dark forest to the right of here. And it's blocked by houses and stuff. So we can take, at least as a template, we can take the ground level layer for the houses and start placing them. Of course, we painted all of our grass on the above ground layer, which is totally wrong. Okay, so I want to copy 2 cabins as a placeholder, just so we can start to get the layout of the land. Right, so like in the village, you know, there's 2 houses here on Main Street. I kind of want like a little fountain down in this corner. Yeah. We can't have things touching the very corner, very edge of the map, because then if you walk in from the other side, you'll clip into it. So I want to minimize putting things on the edge of the map, just like how I've got the refinery on the very corner. That's an okay one, I think, because this is going to lead into the dark forest, which is going to have trees and stuff. So you can't walk into it from these other corners. So in that scenario, it's fine. So if this is Main Street, you know, the actual innkeeper will be over here. We won't have the refinery there. We'll have just an innkeeper, like right here. I'm going to leave that sign for now, because we need to change a bunch of stuff around. But okay, so here now there's, you know, there's a little village. We'll get rid of the refinery. We'll have to remember to move the refinery up. Okay. Same with the Zazen idol. We'll have to move that from here. Okay, and this is just loose. This is just to kind of get the layout of the new land. So there's going to be flowers over here on these left sides. This screen right here, you know, this scene is unexplorable. So for right now, I'll just put this brown autumn grass here, just to kind of signify we're not planning on letting the player go over here. Okay, and then this is the scene above. Oh, we did this too far. Okay. Yeah, so this is going to be like a little bridge to a river of corruption. So there's going to be a river of corruption here. And then we can use our rickety bridge for now. Right here. You know, we have like a little rickety bridge up. So the idea is, in the real game, when you play the first loot song and you cleanse the water, that'll turn this into normal water, and then once it's normal water and you get the blue tunic, you can swim across. That's gonna be a tough feature, but that's like end game stuff, so that's not. I'm not too worried about that right now. Okay. And then I kind of want rickety bridge. Well, that's okay for now. Okay. So now this is the dark forest. So for right now, we'll just put a bunch of trees for the dark forest. So we'll kind of stack some trees. I guess trees are in the above ground layer. For right now, you know, we're just kind of blocking. This is just a proof of what's over here. You know, the real level design won't be this this lame, but this is what's going to help us visualize what we need for the demo. So cool. So we'll put a little opening here, and this is where the entrance to the little dungeon is, and that's going to be the entrance to get us to the ice biome. Then yeah, for right now this is all blocked off by trees. Okay, so this is the dark forest, right? Okay, so dark forest is over here. We can build out a better looking floor than this. Okay. Okay, Dark Temple. We need to block off this other side to the Dark Temple. Okay. Okay, what else is on our map? We've got, we need to make the flower bed over here, which we can just paint some flowers. We have flowers as an animatable on the above ground layer, so we can just draw some wherever we want. This is like, just because the flowers are animated and they look pretty, I'm just plopping them in here. Doesn't really matter. But yeah, this is actually going to be the left side of like a wall leading up to the water. So yeah, this needs to be blocked off. So for right now, we'll just put trees there and block it off. Okay. I mean, already, even just with like, just giving it shape, it looks much, much more interesting. Okay. Okay. Okay, so we've got to move the old inn to be more of a fisherman's place. We don't have the placeholder for that just yet. I think I want to put at the end of the dark forest, you get warped up into the ice mountain. So I want that to warp you up here in this scene. So we do have some snow places here. Okay, if it warps you here, wrong level. So we'll have to add advanced blizzard particle system. We have one for snow, but we don't have one. We have one for like lightly falling snow, but we want like a blizzard, right? So we want on the above ground basically to pop out here. That'll be the warp zone. So we might need a white version of this steps to come out, but here's just like the placeholder for where we're gonna pop out when we go to the dark forest tunnel. So dark forest will pop us out in the ice biome over there. Oops. And then we have the shortcut. So here we want this to be not a step, because this is actually going to be blocked off. So yeah, this can be blocked off. Right now I'm just blocking these off because you can't even get up here. but in case I'm exploring, you don't want a crash or a crop through. Okay. Okay. Now, yeah, we still need the little dock, right? So this will be the dock here. So this will be some water and a little dock. Well, for right now, you can just put rickety bridge or this wood dock just as a placeholder. Okay, so Fisherman's Hut will be down here. We do need some sort of blockage to prevent them from just walking into the water, but I won't worry about that just yet. This is just kind of like a rough play. So yeah, Fisherman's Hut will be here. There'll be a little dock to kind of tease. You won't be able to see any of this stuff. This is the Chalice Dungeon stuff over here. Okay. So once we move, we move the inn, we convert it to the fisherman's deck, then this one is blocked off. The inn will go right here. Okay. Okay, so the real fisherman's house is one scene below. That's where you can actually rest. Because the real Main Street Inn, they don't like your kind there. They don't like no magic casters. Okay. So yeah, so there's Fisherman's House there. We can erase this. This is really just going to be Gecko Road now. So these two are Gecko Road. Okay. I'm not too worried about how it looks. I'm just trying to get the layout semi-close. So we know that to the right of the inn, this all needs to be blocked off. This is all no bueno. So this is going to be blocked off. So for right now, let's just put trees there to kind of block it off. Okay, so that's blocked off. Then we need this blocked off to get to it from the top there. Yeah, so you can't come into it from the top either. This side is blocked off, and this side is blocked off. Now we do have boulders to push here. This allows us to still do the shortcut though. Okay. Okay. So yeah, so you pop out of the dungeon. Here's the shortcut with the boulders. Then there's the dungeon entrance with the option to go up into the dark forest and hit up the dark forest entrance. You can also access the dark forest entrance from the refinery, which also means from the dungeon you can pop out of harvesting your elements. You can come up here and go up, left, and then get to the refinery. So it's a little bit shorter to go through the dark forest to get to the refinery than to go through the town. Then up in the refinery, we have a little dock up to a later game area that you can't get to yet. Same with down here past the fisherman. And then okay, what else? Shortcut in Gecko Road, safe space, yes. Okay, yes. Okay, so we kind of need just the block offs for the desert here, at least for the placeholders. So the desert will not be accessible from here. I do want us to be able to go one scene down into it as a sort of like sneak peek for right now. Okay, so these two scenes are the only ones you can see. You know, they won't have wood posts like that, but that's just how we're going to block it off for the demo. Okay. Gosh, it's already looking so different. This is great. Let's see how it's looking. I mean, we need to move, we need to move the refinery up. We need to take out this signpost on 7.2 and also change the warp zone from the inn to be from the old location to this location. Yeah, it's gonna be a lot, but we can do it one step at a time. So let's just export this as a global map and see how jacked up everything is. Okay, so yeah, see the warp zone there. Yeah, refinery is no longer down here, but let's see. Let's walk up Main Street. So now we've got over here, we've got 2 huts. We can walk in, but there's no warp zone. We messed up the top level tile here, but we can walk in the hut. Over here's the flowers, which looks right. Here's the new refinery. If you come up here, this is where it gets, and see, like, dude, the way we set ourselves up for this, I just drew this, and already we have animated waters, we have this little deck, we have the correct collision so that we can't walk anywhere that's illegal, right? We stop on a stump, we stop on a tree, we stop on a water. So it's just awesome that we can just draw that fast and have the game already looking just massively different. So now here's the dark forest, right? We walk in, blah, 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 put some geckos in here. We need to block that. We need to block that. And then here is the dark forest entrance. We'll add a little signpost there. We have to change the ground level tiles over there. But then here's the dungeon. And then here is the shortcut that we can't reach anymore. Oh, it's already looking so much better. And then here's the one-stop shortcut over here. Here's the Gecko Road. We need to move this warp zone to be the new Fisherman's Warp Zone. Oh my gosh, this is crazy. It's looking so much better. Yep, and then down we have a little dock here. Oh my gosh. Dude, with just like 30 minutes of drawing, it feels like a whole new game already. We haven't even added anything. Here's Gecko Road 1. Yeah, here is the village with... This will be the inn, but you can't get served here. So we'll move this signpost. Here's the Dark Temple. We need to figure out something for over here. So it's not just a dead end. You know, the trees don't bother me, that there's so many trees everywhere. But I feel like it's going to start to bother me soon if we use trees to block every pathway, you know. For right now, it doesn't really bother me. It's looking cool. It's looking legit. Well, we messed up the top level tile on the refinery, so we'll have to fix that. And then fix a couple other little things. It's amazing how much that added, though. So let's take it one step at a time. We'll make sure that these above ground level layer need to have the collidable map object version. And then on the top level tile, oh yeah, we just need the doorway. So we just need this doorway on the top level tile. Yeah, and then we need the halfway ones also. So that should be fixed for the refinery. We need, yeah, we just need better ground tiles here. Under... Yes. Okay. Already looking better. Okay. Okay, this was like the only hut we had fixed or done right. Let's make sure we've got the top level tile here. Yeah, we messed up all these. So let's just add the top level tile for all the tops of the huts here. I do want one other hut, you know, I don't want all the same cabins. So maybe we'll do like a different type of hut. Okay. We gotta do something about this. You know, maybe we can make a little teaser to the Chalice dungeons up here, so that you can see it, but you can't get to it. I don't know, though. We also need... I want the side of the flowers over here to be a side of a hill or a raised island. Always check what layer you're on. Okay. Okay, let's try this. It's amazing how much just a little bit of drawing changes the whole game. Okay. Mage's Castle. We've got the inn. It looks like that's working. Let's check Fisherman's Place. We need to scoot the warp zone down, obviously, but Fisherman's House working. Here's the shortcut down. Oh, we need to block that off. Let's do that right now before we forget. There was another time we kind of clipped out into a tree, and I'm not sure where. Right here. Right now we'll just put little collidables, because this isn't like the full layout. This is just the placeholder. The shape, you know, we're just getting the shape of it, and then we'll finalize. Okay. Yeah, and this gives us the ability to we can spread out the town, the village a bit more. We can spread out the village a bit more. with those extra 2 flower scenes. And then here's the dark forest. We don't have any dark forest sprites just yet, but this is just placeholder for it. And then we've got space right there. Okay. Yeah, and it looks like this is totally fine for our shortcut, because yeah, we still have the ability to move out the shortcut, and then we need a block right here. We need a stump right there, at least for now. Okay, and then we will work on just moving the warp zones so that they're in the right spot. So we don't need to remove where they go, just remove where they originate. So let's just take it one step at a time. And we'll start with the refinery. So the first green warp zone we see here, this needs to warp us to the refinery, which it does, but it needs to be 2 scenes up. So instead of 7.2, it needs to be on 5.2, because that's the new refinery. So in our map declarations, we go to the refinery, and instead of 7.2, it's at 5.2, and then now we should have it. What? 7.2 warp zone. It's actually a 5.2 warp zone. Okay, no more warp zone there. If we walk up to the refinery, let's see. It does warp us to Ren's refinery and out proper. Okay, cool. So now we need to also ultimately have warp zones on these houses. Once we lock down the final position, I don't want to worry about it right now, because I'm not sold on these being the final positions of the houses. This is just like for us to get a feel of the new layout and what we need. So the inn, instead of warping us to the inn here, for right now I'll just move it down 1 scene, even though the inn with this NPC is going to be up in Main Street. I don't know which one's going to be the inn just yet, so for right now, for the inn, instead of 8.3, I'm going to have it be at 9.3. We don't change the state for the inn, so we shouldn't have a crash like we did last time. So let's see here. So this is Gecko Road 1 and 2, and then here's the inn. Okay, we need to move it up 2, 1, 2, 3. We need to move it up 3 because it's warping us to the right place, just out. So we need to just move it instead of the warp 2 being at 3.7, it needs to be at 3.654. So if we do it at a 3.4, it should be 3 tiles higher, and we should be able to not see the warp zone because it's inside the inn there, and then we can kind of do it. Nice. Cool. So now the inn's there. We need to change the signpost, because look, there's a signpost object where the signpost used to be. So for the signpost, we have a dialog box for the inn. What did it even say? Bed inside? Bed inside. Okay. So it's not on map 8.3 anymore. It is 9.3. And is it at a 4.6? Maybe? 4.6? Maybe. Let's see. I don't want to get too deep into the weeds of this just yet. I don't see it. Is this a 9.3? 9.3. I don't see it interacting anywhere. It looks like it is a... if it's, yeah, it should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 and 1, 2, 3, 4. 5, 4. So it should be 5, 4. I'm not seeing it. It's at a 9.3, yeah? 9.3. 9.3, yeah, 9.3. Okay, I won't worry about this yet because I don't even know if it's in the right spot. So we do just need to move Ren's shop up 2 to 5.2, as well as render the signpost in the right spot. So what I'll do is delete it from here. So no longer here, and it's at what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So from the right it is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 3, 5 from the right. We'll just delete it, and then 3, 5 from the right. We'll add a new one. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll put it right there. Okay. We'll save it. Export as a global map. And then we put this at 5.2 for Ren's shop. So it should be up there. So we no longer have the sign for Ren's shop down here. And up here, we should have it. Son of a bitch. 293. We give it a 4th index. We'll have to give it an index of 1 because it's the first dialog box in the scene. Okay, Ren's shop is there. Okay, so I don't know why we couldn't get it working on the inn. I don't know why, but I'm not worried about it just yet. Yeah. Okay. Okay, well, dude, we've kind of locked in our game in a lot of ways. So like now we can't, we have very specific, the art doesn't look particularly good, but the layout is feeling a lot better. So now we have the dark forest up here. You can't go through here, but you can go up to the ice mountain. You can work your way around the dark forest over here, come out to the refinery, and then, we got the wrong top level layer refinery. We just need the top half of the refinery there. Yeah, let's add only the top half of the refinery doorway there. These ones look right. So here, yeah, we don't want this doorway. We want the half doorway. There we go. And then maybe what we'll do, I don't want to do it just yet, but we want to re-export the minimap so we have like a more updated version of the minimap in our system. Okay. Yep, that's looking good. Cool. Yeah, we need a stump here too to prevent that from happening. So we'll just make sure that's in case. I'm not dead set on the locations. Yo, thanks, Matt Bird. Yeah, we're going to be adding, in the next couple days, we're going to be adding I don't want to say like a ton more overworld sprites, but we are going to be adding more sprites to increase the diversity of tile sets we can use. So I'm hoping it gets even prettier, because this is like still kind of template placeholder stuff. Dude, I'm looking for a stump. There we go. Yeah, I'm hoping, dude, I mean, just in one day, the layout of the game is feeling much better. Like now we've got like this main village. It's still temporary art, but the layout's feeling better, because this is going to be a dark forest. We're going to add, this is like the only darker scene, these 4. Hey, doing well, what's up? Okay, so we still need to add the warp zone for the ice mountain, but we have the dungeon, we have the shortcut back to the inn. This is like the roughest scene. Oh crap. How did our warp zone get here? We just need to move our warp zone for the inn to be not at 9337. We need it to be 34. That should be the right location. Let's test if the warp zone works there. Yeah, so this is looking rough. This is Gecko Road, so this is going to be like, there's going to be populated with the geckos there, which we already have. Okay, the warp zone looks like it's in the right spot now. We need our inn signpost working. There's the dock placeholder. Oh, shoot. Yeah, we don't want that to happen. Need to not block us from there. You know, this is just like, once we get the layout like locked in, then we'll be able to oh, cool. Yeah, man, pixel art is one of those things that I definitely underestimated how tough it was. I thought it'd be really easy because it's like small, but it is not easy. It is not easy to make it look good. Okay, we do need to add, we added the signpost here for the inn. It's actually going to be the fisherman's cabin, but he'll allow you to sleep in his bed. That's not weird at all. Oh yeah, I know. I thought it would be like, I thought it'd be simple because it's limited, but it makes it actually quite tough. Oh yeah, and generating art isn't very good either. Like, just doesn't help you all that much. Yeah, I haven't generated anything for this game. For that. But I have tried it just to see what it's like capable of, and it's not very good. Okay, so we've got the danger sign working. So the danger sign, wherever the danger sign is, we need a fisherman's cabin sign 2 scenes below it at a 9.3. So when we go to place the inn scene, or the signpost, where is it? We say bed inside. Right there. So not at 8.3, but at 9.3. Okay. And then, yeah, converting art doesn't work either. It has to be like designed for pixel art for it to look good. We do have the first signpost inserted. Yeah, and I feel like contrast is a big thing too. Like, you have to be able to like Like for Tashio's bun, his hair's like in a bun, but facing down. It's only like 1 pixel. Like you kind of have to like. It took us so long to get it looking right in pixel art, even though it was just like a 1 pixel difference. It just wouldn't look right. Okay, where is the freaking sign? We aren't able to read it. So we're inserting it in the wrong place. It's at 9.3. So we're saying 9.3 bed inside. And it's the only signpost in here. Let's try to put it at just tile size 1.1 and see if it shows up there. And we'll actually warp over to C9.3 while we're at it so that we don't have to walk over there. So we'll just go to 9.3 instead of 7.2. Okay, we put it at 1.1. Huh. I'm not seeing it still. Oh, there it is. Okay. So it's 1.1 is actually... Okay, that makes sense though. That makes sense. So we need it at, instead of at tile size 1.1. You know, ideally we just change this to accept the number of rows and tiles instead of the tile size, because the one offset is kind of throwing me for a loop. But if it's at 1.1 right here, then we need it to be 2, 3, 4. 4 on the X, and then 1, 2, 3. So 4, 3. And then we'll say Fisherman's Hut. Yo, I've been teaching myself essentially since COVID. So I've got no formal training in programming. I mean, I guess I did take a web developer boot camp last year. That's the only kind of schooling I had for it. But game dev is all self-taught. We've got one wrong. We got Fisher's Hut. Okay, it should be an arrow pointing left though. How do we do it for the flower bed? Oh, we do a little arrow. Thanks. Yeah. I use the. There's a series on YouTube from Harvard called Games 50, I think it's called. And they're the ones that showed me this game engine and Lua programming, so that's where I got the idea. And the game engine, and there was like they had us build like a Zelda-like game, which is where some of this inspiration came from, like for the scene changing like this, like Link's Awakening. They have a repo on like week 3 or 4 that they walk through that does this. So it's how I essentially got started. But I started, the code is all from I did like pick apart the code from that, but I didn't like fork the repo and start it from there. I really started it from like the ground up. Okay, so we've got Fisher's Hut, and then we need to fix this one lone water that's incorrect. So I'm just gonna try to draw it again. It should be, I don't think it's on the above ground layer. Oh, this is on the above ground layer. I don't know if That is correct. Yeah, we want it on the ground level there. I've just been saying it's a top-down adventure game filled with magic and music. So there's spellcasting and music involved. There's a little mini game with a lute that you play a song. So that's kind of the pitch, if I had to say there's a pitch. Okay, so that's why. Oh, that's why. Yeah, not on the above ground. I can show you the loot minigame here too. This is jacked up. That's okay, that's okay. It's not a big deal. Just hoping to get that water working. Oh, cool. Yeah, I know Adam's been working on his game for a while. Playing the correct note. Yeah. Okay, I want to check that out because I'm doing something kind of similar. So here, I'll show you what it is. And this is like the end of the demo. If you play it at the right scene, which is right here at Mage's Castle. So look, you equip your loot, you get your tome equipped, which it is, and then you can play it. Oh. So if you get the music right, you cleanse the water, it turns from purple to blue, and then that's the end of the demo. We got to get rid of that debug credits. So we run the credits, you can speed it up, and then you can also just go back to playing after that's done. Let's get rid of the credits. Tome 1 success state. We got to get rid of the debug. Yeah, right here. It's not involved in... I mean, I consider it a mechanic because it changes the world around you, like it changed the purple to blue. So I consider it involved in the mechanics in that sense, but it doesn't affect like enemies at the current moment. At some point I think it will, but definitely not during the demo. It only affects the overworld, and it's like yeah, it is actually kind of like that, but further in the game. So like for right now, this time you play this first song, it cleanses the water, which allows you to get into the forest biome, and then once you get the forest biome sheet music, it'll do something else I haven't figured out yet, but it does kind of like unlock the next stages of the game. Like in Link's Awakening, the equivalent is like the dungeon key, the dungeon key to the next dungeon. At the end of every dungeon, you get the next dungeon key. It's kind of like that, but it's more environmental than just a key unlocking it. Okay, well, I think I'm going to call it a night. I got work tomorrow. We got a lot of good work done. So we kind of like rehauled out the whole kind of layout. It's still placeholder, but the layout feels a lot better. So we've got the dark forest now. We've got the shortcut. We've got the dungeon. We need a test outside the dungeon. So let's just do that real quick. It should be, where is the dungeon? If we load the game, we can kind of see. Yo, hey, thanks for the follow. Acquire a missing string. Oh, that is a cool idea. That is a cool idea. Yo, yeah. I'll see you next time. Thanks for stopping in. Yeah, I'm calling it a night here soon, so I'll be out very soon. We want to spawn here at 7.5. Okay. So you got that. Okay, yeah, so here is the new kind of, yeah, we need the new ground floors here, but yeah, in the desert, it's like super, here's like the placeholdery block offs just to kind of like prevent players from going too far. We'll come up with a better block off than that, but this is just for our sake to know what's going to be playable in the demo. And then, yo, peace out, doing well. Thanks for watching. Yeah, we'll do, just want a new ground level right on the trees out here. Thanks. Yeah, there's going to be some, we've got snow, water, or rain, snow, lava, and sand particles in the game so far. We do need to test out the snow particle system for that dungeon. Yo, sticky sand. I like that. There's gonna be spitting cobras in the desert that effectively slow you down like that. So that is kind of where we're headed. Yeah, right here. I just don't want tall grass on the ground level. Yeah, it's either going to be cobras or scorpions. It depends how my it's gonna depend how my pixel art is. And then yes, so there is so there's 2 steps. So every enemy in the game starts off as corrupted. So they'll be purple and oozing out this like corruption stuff. So the first time the loot won't have any effect on them if they're corrupted, but once you cleanse them with your magic, then you can charm them with music, and that's like the second half of their system. So it's going to be something like that, you know. For right now, there's like one more step to it where it's like you have to kind of soothe the biome by defeating the boss of the biome before you can do the animals cleansed side quest, because they're still corrupted until you defeat the biome, the boss biome. So like you can like temporarily cleanse them by defeating them with the magic so that you can work your way down into the boss level. But you have to beat the boss level to get them in their uncorrupted status permanently so that you can go charm them and do the second part of the puzzle solving that way. So yeah, cobras do make more sense for that. And cobras makes more sense for spitting because they're the whole idea is we have a reflective spell for the desert, so they need to be able to reflect like a distant effect. Oh, forced to give up a string. Yo, I'll think about that. I mean, giving up a string is too much. I feel like it's like not worth it. But I do like that, you know, in like Name of the Wind when he's playing the lute and then he breaks the string and he plays the song with one less string than normal. Like, I love that scene. So something like that could be really cool. Yeah, and then you just go to the guitar shop and craft your new strings and stuff. We definitely could figure something out like that. Okay. Yes. Okay. I think we are calling it here for the night. Let's look at our git diff. We got a whole lot of new tiles because we redrew a ton of stuff to be more accurate for the demo. So that's a huge commit in terms of the tile IDs. Wow. Yeah, we changed a ton of that. Okay. The main things we did was just update the dialog boxes to reflect the new tile maps, as well as the warp zones to reflect the new tile maps. So we'll just say like added more demo specific layout or overworld. And we have a much better idea about what the demo is going to be after today. And we kind of just, we know we need to do, we need to build out a warp zone to the ice mountain, lock us in with a better particle system of a blizzard, which we don't have at the moment. And then, oh, nice. Yo, feel free to join the Discord and share your progress if you want to. We talk about, I offer anyone to share their projects, and we got a lot of people who like, I wouldn't say a lot of people, we got a couple people that like to check out people's indie projects and stuff. So if you want to share in the Discord, feel free. We'll run the credits and call it a night though. Thanks for hanging, doing well. Hope you have a good night. I'll be back tomorrow with some more planning. We'll probably do the blizzard system tomorrow, as well as the warp zone from the dark forest. And then if we have time, we're going to be doing more pixel art of doing the dark forest, and then finalizing the layout for both the village and the new overworld sprites. So that's what's going to be happening tomorrow. And we will raid out here. We'll find someone to raid out to as we call it a night here. Just try to find someone who's doing game dev. Looks like Hypnotic is doing game dev, so we will raid out. And I will catch you all later. Thanks for watching. Have a good night.